Hi, I'm Kate Ann Hunter from Carver Lake Veterinary Center, and I'd like today to show you how to train your dog to use a ramp to get in and out of the car. This can be helpful for dogs who have mobility issues, but also to prevent the injury that can happen over years of jumping up and down to a great height. This is Bria, and she's never seen the ramp before, so I'm introducing it to her with it flat on the floor. There's a book tucked under the end that's tipped up so that if she steps on it, it won't bounce or frighten her. And I'm using a trail of delicious treats so that as long as she's walking on the ramp, there's a tasty treat for her. Using lots of positive reinforcement, but never any physical pushing or pulling, because I want her to do this on her own as a positive experience. Good girl. So now we've elevated it now that she's comfortable with it on the floor. And again, using treats for her to follow. She can come at her own pace, using her own strength as well as her own balance to come up the ramp in her own sweet time. Lots of treats, and she's thinking this is a pretty fun game. I'm using my hand to stabilize the ramp when she's on it so that it doesn't slip. It's very important that the dog not have a frightening experience on the ramp, which could cause them to avoid the ramp for a long time. This video was shot within the course of a 10 or 15-minute training session, so you can see how quickly Bria learned to use the ramp. However, once we moved it out to the vehicle, we may have to start over using lots of positive reinforcement, keeping her oriented towards the ramp, and you can see that she still thinks the best way is to hurry in and out, but we'll take our time and use the treats as close together as needed for her to go in a slow and controlled manner. There you go, Bria. Step at a time. Good girl. Over the course of Bria's life, this will mean much less wear and tear. And this is Moose. Moose has 3 legs, so it'll be especially important for us to keep his joints healthy. We're introducing him to the ramp in the same way, with it flat on the floor, a book tucked under the lipped end so that if he steps on that end it doesn't tip, and using treats for him to have a positive experience as he gets used to the non-slip surface of the ramp itself. This ramp is called a Smart Ramp Junior. The length of it, the non-slip surface, and the weight of it work well for me, but you're going to want to look at ramps and find one that works best for your vehicle and for your pet. Making sure that it's non-slip is the most important thing. So Moose is learning that this is a pretty fun game. As long as he's walking on the ramp, there are treats to be found. It's going to be important for Moose to learn to come all the way straight on and off the ramp to prevent slipping and injury. And to do that, we may have to extend our trail of treats out well beyond the ramp itself to encourage him to come straight off. There's a good boy. Nice job, Moose. Thinks this is a pretty interesting game here. Let's do it again, he says. So again, on the ramp with tasty treats, and if we're lucky, we can get him to come all the way off. Not quite. So we've elevated the top end of the ramp just slightly for Moose, and we'll be using the treats and letting him use his own strength, balance, and confidence as he develops it to come up the ramp. Lots of positive reinforcement, but absolutely no hurry as he navigates that. Moose is quite agile in turning around on that small flat surface, and then we'll use treats again to encourage him to come down the ramp. Oh, don't miss that one way out there. That way you'll step all the way off the ramp in a straight manner. One more time up the low elevation. Again, letting him take his own time. We're giving him lots of encouragement, but no force whatsoever. And holding the ramp so that as he gets used to it, it doesn't bounce. Now we have the top end of the ramp elevated at what I would consider about a maximum. You really don't want your ramp to angle at more than 45 degrees, and that's where it'll depend on your particular vehicle which ramp works. No stealing from the end of the platform. The treats come to Moose only when he uses the ramp. There, and so he's just working out for himself what's comfortable. My foot is snug at the end of the ramp so that it won't slip and slide while he figures out what works for him to get up and down. This, again, for Moose was a very short training period, about 10 minutes before he became quite comfortable with the use of the ramp. Again, we have to work extra with him to encourage him to get on and off the ramp in a straight way so that he's not going to slip and slide. So we do that by tossing it well off. So you can see that Moose is quite adept at getting in and out of the car by jumping. But because of his different abilities, we're very concerned about how jumping in and out of the car over the course of his lifetime may affect his good front leg. You can see as he jumps out, oof, that's a tough landing, and over time he's going to be prone to arthritis and tendon damage in that right front leg. So we've put the ramp up at the car, and again, using treats will let Moose find his own comfort level in terms of using the ramp to get up into the car. The ramp seems very obvious to you and I as an easier way to get in and out, but it's not at all obvious to the dog, and that's why the training is such an important part. You can see that even with the ramp, he thinks that he needs to jump up into the car. And as we know from working out at the gym, lifting a weight slowly can actually be harder work than doing it quickly and in a jerky manner, and so we have to help him learn to build the strength that it will take. So he's getting to be very comfortable with the ramp here, using it to go in and out of the car in gentle steps. And that's really our ideal to preserve his strength, his bones, and his joints. Coming down the ramp, perfect. Come on down, kid. What a good boy. And again, this was easy for Moose because we just made it a fun game with treats and positive reinforcement, that little extra effort to get him to come off the end of the ramp. So I want to thank my models Bria and Moose, and special thanks to Jody, who was my camera person and owns Moose.